Shemai, Scrappy sketchbooks are a great way of reusing all that old paper that's destined for recycling. So have a rummage around in your scrap paper box, as well as any greetings cards that have been kept. This sketchbook, little Monty and I had fun making out of an old greetings card with one of his favourite birds, the robin corchan, the red robin. And we used envelopes as well to create little pockets to put thicker paper in that he could then draw a painting on. As well as old brown packing paper, coloured tissue. This wrapping paper has got lots of seaweed and fish on. That would be great for a sea-inspired sketchbook paper. And Monty also had the lovely idea of using an old envelope that he then created a little pouch to put his drawing materials in with crayon and charcoal. So he got very excited about that, and then using a paper clip to fasten it together. And we created a little fold-out panel in the middle with some brown paper that gives, from a smaller piece of paper, you can then fold out and give a nice long area to sketch on. This sketchbook was just tied with some string. We made two holes in the back, and then threaded the string through and tied a knot to hold it together. This one I've just used an elastic band to put round the back of the card, and then that holds all my paper together, again with a fold-out panel in the middle, where I showed one of the squash seeds we planted developing and growing. It's quite nice to show the different stages of things growing in the garden. And thicker paper for painting, and then brown paper and some old envelopes as well. So you can really have fun getting creative with how you use your materials. With this book, now I'm going to use a card Jackie gave us of this lovely diamond spotted fritillary with the butterfly. And I've just started with a panel of lining paper. Lining paper, you can buy a big roll of it from a decorator's shop and then cut it up, and it's ideal for drawing and painting on. This is some scrap one that had printing ink from when we were doing some printing or painting. So I quite like the idea of drawing some sheep on here, as I've already got the grass for the fields. I've also tied an old label onto here just with some string. With this sketchbook I'm using a hair bobble as a way of holding it all together. The purple of the hair bobble works nicely with the purples in the flower and the butterfly. So I might use another piece of lining paper for this, and rather than just having a square edge, I think I'll tear it. It's already got a little bit of a torn shape, and it can be quite interesting how you tear your paper can create landscapes for you, so it can create the shape of hills and fields, or maybe waves in the sea, or a skyline of rooftops. You could tear it up to create the different shapes. If you're more sort of precise with your tearing and more angular, or use a ruler, you could use it to create the triangles and diamonds and trapezium shapes of rooftops. So I can use that and just feed it through my hair bobble there, and then tear that on the edge. And they don't have to have a neat edge. It can be quite interesting having lots of different torn edges and shapes as you go through your book. And old envelopes that are window envelopes. Again, reuse is even better than recycling. So reuse these envelopes, and you just need to carefully, so you don't tear the paper, but just peel up the corner of the plastic inside and then tear it out, just holding the envelope with one hand. Remove that and we can bin that, and then we have a nice little peephole window. And that could be a great way of looking out. This could be your window in your bedroom, in the wind view in the house. You could draw the view looking through the window. I'm going to do a peephole sketchbook looking into our hen house, and one of the hens is sitting on her nest, so it'll be great to draw that. So using some old brown packing paper, that came with a parcel, I'm just going to cut that slightly smaller than the envelope itself. So just do a little tear where I want to cut to, and then just keeping my hands well behind the scissors, just cut along that side and then cut along this edge, and then that should just slip nicely inside my packing envelope. And then I can draw my hen in the brown hen house and draw the hen house, decorate that on the outside. So that's going to be quite a fun one to do. And I can just slip that through, fold it over the hair bubble. And then I could do some more hen drawings on the outside as well. Now what else have we got? Oh, we've got some old seed packets. They're good fun, they'll be good to work on. So I could draw my pumpkin on the pumpkin seed packet. So I can just tear that, I could draw those, tear that down the side, just carefully, just pinching and tearing. Some paper tears more easily than others. And then I could stick that in, actually that will just fit across here. And I can draw my pumpkin seeds as they're growing on there. Will remind me what they were. And then we've got some more ones that Monty collected with Nana that we had sweet pea seeds in. So I could even actually, this might be nice to stick in, keep it as an envelope. And then we could even collect little seeds. This is nice if you like beach combing as well. You can collect shells and things you find on the beach that you then want to draw later. Or even around your house, little bits of buttons or anything interesting you find out and about. All around the house you can keep in your little sketchbook to draw with for inspiration. So I can fold that there, and then I might also draw those sweet peas as they grow on the envelope. What have we got here? Oh, some peas we planted, Tom. There's soil on the seed packet, but that doesn't actually matter because that will give me the brown of the soil I can then sketch the seeds growing in. So I'll just feed that through there. You might find these from sort of little other scrap paper you get, delivery notes with windows in. And if I peel that window off, this side is sticky. So that again could give me a little frame to stick on a piece of paper. So what shall I use for this? I could use some more scrap paper, or maybe create the view. We could do a view into the greenhouse on this paper here. So I could create a little window somewhere, maybe on this side, and stick this down. Or a view out of the window. So we can stick that down there, and then that's stuck, and that gives me a nice little viewing hole there. And I can even tear off the extra paper just by folding it and tearing that back. So really get creative, interesting envelopes as well. This recycling envelope is torn in an interesting way, and it's got different things. So I could even sketch the things on the envelope, an apple core, a tin can, milk cartons. Have a look around your kitchen what you can find. There's always lots of inspiration to sketch in the kitchen. And I can slip this in, again just feeding it through my sketchbook. And having a rummage around, what else can we find? Old packaging, cardboard boxes. So herbal tea boxes I always keep because of the lovely patterns and pictures on. But you could use these as a way of creating a frame, a cover for your sketchbook. Any cereal packets, boxes, even toothpaste containers you could make a little sketchbook out of. So it's always, get creative, think about how you can use different packaging and all that rubbish those things are about to be thrown out. Grab them and use them for your sketchbooks. So I'm going to use, for the centre of this sketchbook, I'm going to use a tea packet that I've just been looking under some books to fold it down, and we should be able to have some fun using this in a creative way. So I can just, what you want to do with your tea packet is just carefully, any cardboard boxes, just carefully tear them down the glued corners to open them out. And some of them have interesting pictures inside that you can even just colour in and use to enjoy doing some colouring and add your own drawings onto them. You could have a breakfast table sketchbook that you keep at the breakfast table made out of a cereal box, or one for tea time out of a tea box. One in the bathroom, again, use a toothpaste carton and draw things in the bathroom in that sketchbook. So with this tea box that Rosie gave us, I'm just going to think about how I can attach it into my Scrappy sketchbook. And I think what I'm going to do is actually use that little tab hole there, and like I tied the label on, I'll get some string and tie this in the middle, tie this onto my hair bobble there, and then it will fold out. And the fun thing with this is then we'll have flaps that fold out to give me a really long panel in the middle. So that will be really exciting with the sketchbook, because we can then have one little nice picture on the front and then open it out, and we've got more and more panels to draw on and use. And I can even use these little tabs at the top. So from a small sketchbook, a small piece of card, I've got a larger area to work with. And you could even have things concertina some of your papers, so just fold your paper up and shape it. So again, I can use these angles and diagonals to create little shapes and interesting views that I can then draw and sketch on. And it might be that you draw any pets you have at home as they're sleeping or as they're moving. And family members as well, moving or around the house, you can do quick sketches and studies. And you could even create a pop-up sketchbook, one that you pop in here, and then it kind of springs out, almost like a jack-in-the-box. So have this, even glue it, you could glue it onto one of your sketchbook panels, and then, woo, out it springs at the top, and that gives you lots of different panels you can draw on. And that's quite fun, because if someone opens a sketchbook in the middle, this will spring out at them and go, peep-o. So back to our cute tea carton, I might just cut off these edges, just on this section, and maybe I'll keep that one, and then fold it all back into place. I could keep these tabs there, or I could, maybe I'll cut those tabs off just so it fits within the inside of my sketchbook. And then we can attach that onto our sketchbook with some string. And then we'll have our Scrappy sketchbook all ready to use, to take out and about around the house, to draw lots of different things with. And as I get to the middle, I can open out my fold-out box sketchbook within a sketchbook. Oh, and of course we need to have an envelope, don't we, to keep our art materials in. Let's have a look what we've got here. I could use this old envelope here, and literally what you want to do with this is feed it through. So again, I could feed it through here, and then if I just tear or cut down the middle of the flap on the envelope, so I can just get that in the middle, basically fold your envelope in half, feed it through under your hair bob or elastic band or string, tear it upwards, and then I've got my two sides to my envelope, that I can then put little bits of thicker paper in to paint onto, or keep my art materials, my pencils and my crayons in there. So I've always got them to hand. I've got everything I need to go out drawing with my sketchbook. So have some fun, get creative, and post some pictures of the types of sketchbooks you make and what you use them for. I'll look forward to seeing them. And I'm going to take this one around with me and do some drawing in the next demonstration.